Where I'm at, I'm here. You gotta wait till they allow you to go on. It's like being on the stage. You gotta wait for it. You know it's coming. But it's when YouTube allows me to go online. Right now, a lot of people are shook up. This was not what the people expected. I watched the game in delay form because, I was out. So I came back, watched it from the beginning. I saw them take away the touchdown from Gronk. And from there, it broke the continuity of the team. And in football, one play like that results into a whole chain reaction. I don't know. I saw a team give up that never gives up. This team gave up tonight. And Tom Brady knew they quit. Tom Brady saw that this team quit on him. And see, this is where the Patriots have had the luxury of having success and being geniuses of. They would find players around the globe that have been on terrible teams that sold out to the winning formula. But there's a lot of players that they brought along here that now have to step up because other players are out and they're not doing what they're supposed to do or what they're capable of doing because they come from losing franchises and they bring that losing mentality into the game. They didn't have the attitude to win the game. The only one that seemed fired up was Tom Brady. Why is that? Why is Tom Brady the only one fired up? Danny Amendola got knocked out of the game. That was another problem. Kansas City running back was good, but you got to look at all the facets on there. Listen to Tom.
I just think we need to, have more urgency and, go out there and perform a lot better. And that, is a winning attitude and a championship attitude that you need to bring every day. And, we had it handed to us on our own field. And, it's a terrible feeling. And, there's only people that can do something about it in that locker room. We got to dig a lot deeper than we did tonight because we didn't dig very deep tonight. I just think we need to, have more urgency and, go out there and perform a lot better. And that, is a winning attitude and a championship attitude that you need to bring every day. And, we had it handed to us on our own field. And, it's a terrible feeling. And, there's only people that can do something about it in that locker room. We got to dig a lot deeper than we did tonight because we didn't dig very deep tonight. I just think we need to, have more urgency and, go out there and perform a lot better. And that, is a winning attitude and a championship attitude that you need to bring every day. And, we had it handed to us on our own field. And, it's a terrible feeling. And, there's only people that can do something about it in that locker room. We got to dig a lot deeper than we did tonight because we didn't dig very deep tonight.
And that's the truth. And Tom is upset. Tom don't have nothing to prove. He's done proving. Tom ain't got to prove nothing to nobody no more. But he wants to win more than these guys.
Have more urgency and, go go out there and perform a lot better. And that, is a winning attitude and a championship attitude that you need to bring every day. And, we had it handed to us on our own field. And, it's a terrible feeling. And, there's only people that can do something about it in that locker room. We got to dig a lot deeper than we did tonight because we didn't dig very deep tonight. I just think we need to, have more urgency and, go out there and perform a lot better. And that, is a winning attitude and a championship attitude that you need to bring every day. And, we had it handed to us on our own field. And
Tom's upset. Tom got every reason to be upset. They let Tom down. They didn't get the time to the fourth quarter when the whole team just laid down like a rug. Tom came out and did everything he was supposed to do. They dropped balls. They didn't do nothing they were supposed to do. No, they got Cooks for that. Cooks is supposed to be the guy to go up and get it. That was why they got him. But Cooks come from a losing system. He doesn't come from a winning background. He doesn't come from a team that's dedicated to winning. He come from Loserville. And he has this loser mentality. I mean, he's not Randy Moss, and I understand that. I've been hearing that garbage a lot. Alex Smith outplayed Brady. No, Alex Smith outplayed the defense of the New England Patriots. Did you see that defense they had out there in those sets? Defensively, these guys were terrible. They couldn't tackle. They were getting beat off the block. 72 got away with offensive holding so much. I'm just like, they're not going to throw a flag on 72? That last big game before the touchdown that gave up the game, they were holding. No, the D1, once Hightower went down and they went to another linebacker, they took advantage of him not knowing the situation. He came in the game not knowing his assignment, so they went right at him on the first play, and they end up throwing a deep ball down the field. What Kansas City did today is what they didn't do in last season, and that's stretch the ball downfield. Alex Smith last season was not good at stretching the ball downfield, and they struggled to score touchdowns passing. He only had 15 touchdowns last year. He's already got 4 this year. Plus, when they draft somebody to take your job, that's going to give you some motivation to go out with a passion. Kansas City is upset because they felt they got robbed against the Steelers last year. So they came into this season with a little bit more fire in their belly. They were already a good team last year. They are hungry. They want to prove that, we're here and we're for real. So they came out, went to New England, and wanted to jump on the New England Patriots. Tom was ready to compete. The rest of the team weren't. They got a lot of players that weren't there last year on the team who don't understand. This is what I was afraid of when they won the Super Bowl. You got to remember something. The Patriots have never won back-to-back Super Bowls. At least that I can remember. I don't think they won back-to-back. Okay, well, maybe early on they won back-to-back. Okay, 03 and 04 when they won, Vinatieri hit the back-to-back field goals. Well, I said maybe. You know, I couldn't go. I'm just going off the top of my dome. But with that being said, this team is expected to go right to the Super Bowl. You saw the breakdown in defensive coverages. You saw guys not knowing what their assignment was, and you saw guys give up. And that is the worst part that you could ever have is being a New England Patriot. Especially if you're Tom Brady. Tom Brady is not going to give up. They gave up on Tom. And that's going to lead for a lot of screaming and yelling for the next 9 games. 9 days. King Kush, we are aware that they won in 2003 and 2004. No, they gave up. They were winning in the fourth quarter. And he gave up. They packed it in and gave up. They took a 12-man on the field penalty because they did not want to get back on the field near the end. That's how bad the play was. They didn't get to Brady and sack him until the fourth quarter in the last 4 minutes of the game. So other than that, the offensive line did their job. They had time. Guys didn't make plays down the field when they needed to in the stretch. Once they took away the Gronk touchdown, the wheels fell off. Edelman injury was big. Losing Danny Amendola was even bigger. Danny Amendola took a shot to the head and was out. Hightower, his knee, he went out. Those are 2 huge, decisive blows to the New England Patriots. That's why I keep telling people injuries in football happen all the time. The Chiefs lost some very key personnel the entire night. Hunt played amazing, but the Chiefs got away with a lot of holding. Yeah, Gronk didn't play great at all. Gronk played, he's part of this equation. He's part of this problem. Don't think he's excluded. It's not just Cook's fault. It's all these receivers' fault. These receivers dropped passes, and they made it look as if Tom was bad. Number 72 held like every time they said hike. 72, that's how he got free to come around the corner, because he was completely held by number 72, especially on that last run. They gave up this game. Mentally, they gave up. And Tom knew it, and I knew it too.
I just think we need to, have more urgency and, go out there and perform a lot better. And that, is a winning attitude and a championship attitude that you need to bring every day. And we had it handed to us on our own field, and it's a terrible feeling. And there's only people that can do something about it in that locker room. We got to dig a lot deeper than we did tonight, because we didn't dig very deep tonight. I just think we need to have more urgency and go out there and perform a lot better. And that is a winning attitude and a championship attitude that you need to bring every day. And we had it handed to us on our own field, and it's a terrible feeling. And
see, Tom know what it is. I know what it is. They quit. They quit on Tom Brady. You don't quit on Tom. Did you look at the plays they made? They were cupcake plays, blown coverages, blown tackles. It's not like the plays were outstanding. He took what they gave them. I give them credit for capitalizing on the plays. New England seemed shocked when he put the ball down the field, that being Alex Smith or whatever. That's football. It's how you lose the game. There's always say, well, it's always how you win the game. It's how you lose the game too. That's a major difference. See, you guys say, oh, it's just one game. That's how you turn into a 4-game losing streak. That's how it turns into a 3-game losing streak. Oh, it's just the first game. Then the next game you get blown out. Oh, we'll get it together. That's the difference between the New England Patriots and everybody else. Do you think Belichick and Tom Brady gonna let this slide? Oh no, this gonna get addressed tonight. It's gonna get addressed on Monday morning. It's gonna get addressed all this weekend. Guys got 9 days off to figure out what didn't happen. Because now all the other teams in the league are like this. Yes! Yes, we can beat them! You see, you inspire that confidence. When people see you play like that, and you look at people's body language, they gave up. Them ain't the same guys that was in the Super Bowl. Cooks, you got to step up, Cooks. You got to make plays. You got to get open. It's not about losing the first game. It's how you lose the first game. Gronk, all that boat party, yeah, Gronk, and partying and all that goofiness. It's time to play football. It's time to do what you get paid to do. You dropped a lot of passes. You didn't get open. You didn't fight enough. You doing too much partying and BSing when they need you out there making plays. Well, Cooks is a burner. He's 5'8", and you can't play him like Randy Moss. And that happened today. He's not a great route runner. He got wheels, but he don't know how to go get it like Randy. You throw that ball up there, this is why Randy is a freak of nature. I keep telling people that. Look at every quarterback he's played with. Their numbers go up like this. Why? Because of Randy. The freak. They didn't have a cornerback problem. They had a communication problem. Didn't you see why running backs were wide open? It wasn't like these were like key plays he made, like key throws. He's put it in the spot. He put it in the middle. No, these were blown assignments. Guys was like running back down there. He like this by himself. Catch. It's like something you play outside in the field. A guy just get open. How many of those plays we saw? How many plays we saw where a running back broke the tackle and just went into the end zone? on the backup linebacker. Because he's in the game because the other guy's out of the game. Guys didn't know who to cover. These are the type of things that we talk about daily. These are the type of situations we talk about all the time. We say, listen, you got to take care of your assignments. And when you take guys in that's from a losing scenario, and see, this is what New England normally does. But they don't normally take in this many people from a losing team and bring them into a winning environment. They have a Super Bowl mentality. These people never really go to the playoffs. They come from Cleveland. They coming from all these loser teams. Now they coming into the New England system where it's championship mentality. Not just, oh, we own the Patriots, we going to the chip. It don't work that way. You got to put the work in. Every loss is going to be magnified because you shouldn't have lost. That's the mentality of a world champion team. They play like that. No, the Patriots was mentally strong enough to know that they could beat the Falcons anytime they felt like it. They had better players. They had better execution. It's called situational football. No, it don't happen overnight. That's why you have to take care of yourself on both sides. Falcons blew the game. Well, you could say they blew it because they mentally didn't know how to win it. You're up by, what, 6 points, 7 points? They're up 7 or 8 points, I think. They're up like 8 points. So you're up 8 points. And what do you do being up 8 points? The play clock is going. You hike the ball with 20 seconds on the play clock? Why would you do that? You could run that play clock down to 5 or 3. Who hikes the ball and play? Why are you playing such a fast game like you need to score? You don't need to score. You're up 8. The clock is your ally at this point. Put the pressure on New England. They weren't smart enough to do that. So instead of blaming the defensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator and the coach definitely put the defense at a disadvantage. No, the execution is what had them scared. You see, what they were in was 22 man. That's the defense Atlanta played. Or they played 2 defenses, the cover 1 robber and 22 man. That's it. That's all they played all night long. They run 2 defensive sets. And if you keep showing Tom Brady 22 man and cover 1 robber, remember, this is the same defensive coordinator that was in Seattle when they played Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. And he played the same defense with the Seattle. And what did Tom Brady do? What did Tom Brady do? In the 4th quarter, he picked that defense apart and they won the game. Won the Super Bowl. 2 years later, same defense. They were up big. In the 3rd and 4th quarter, he picked that defense apart and won the Super Bowl. Doing the same plays. Because in those situational defenses, they know there's certain plays that's going to be open. In order for those 2 plays to be successful and to play in those 2 sets, 22 man or cover 1 robber, is the reason why you're in those defensive sets is because your front 4 has to get to the quarterback. You got to have a great front 4 in order to put pressure on the quarterback. That's to allow the defense in that situation to take place. If you're not going to get pressure on the quarterback, you cannot play those defensive sets because all it takes is time. And that guy, that slant pattern, is going to be open in that corner. And all you got to do is put the ball in that spot. And he's going to be open every time. Tom Brady picked them apart using the same defensive sets and using the same offensive plays. Taking the 9, 10 yards right on the corners, putting the balls in the spots. All he needed was time. And as long as you kept the defense out there by having 20 minutes, even in the first half of the Super Bowl, which you didn't notice, even though they were down that much, the offense wasn't on the field that much for Atlanta. New England had the ball for 20 minutes. So they controlled time of possession. So all them dudes that was getting to Brady early, and the third and fourth quarter, they were huffing and puffing. They were tired. They were tired. You rarely saw Atlanta's offense. They were rarely on the field. They were on it and off it. On it, off it. On it, off it. They did all they scoring, and they panicked. And no, the defense was on the field for so long. They was on there for almost the whole Super Bowl. New England ran almost 100 plays. Whatever that is, I hope it come back so I can smack it. See, that's why I hate leaving my window open and stuff. That's why I don't do it. I just turn the air on. 3 running back plays in the second half. And you want to blame the defense. The offense was equally responsible for losing that game. So, when you say they choked, nah. They didn't know how to win it. Mental sharpness, execution beats everything. It beats emotion. It beats adrenaline. It beats everything. You answer it and you calm them down with plays that's positive yards, execution. They will preach that in New England. Watch what I tell you. But now they don't have to hear about this. Will the Patriots go 16-0 because they spent all this money? They spent like $17 million on wide receivers. Bringing in all these guys. If these guys keep thinking, because when you bring guys into a winning situation, they automatically think, oh, we finna win now. You got to play to win. It's how you play. Every game is the Super Bowl for you. When you're the champions, every game is the Super Bowl. They want to beat you. You're the Super Bowl champions. They want to knock you out. No, it's not that he figured New England out. You have to watch the game. You see that New England was winning the game in the fourth quarter. It wasn't that. It was the fact that the running game had gave them a lot of space to try things that they don't do. Alex Smith was throwing the ball downfield and they were sending the back out, the running back out. And the defense, when your linebacker is out, your key linebacker is out. Hightower went out. That's how most of these plays started to come about. The backup linebacker was just thrown in a situation he didn't understand, and they knew to attack him. You see, that's situational football. Andy Reid is a smart football mind. He understands football. Alex Smith was throwing, the guy was wide open. It wasn't like he was throwing to guys in stride. If he had missed those, he needed to be on the bench and they bring that other guy in. The guys were wide open. That's blown assignments, people not knowing who their mans are. So it wasn't, so people all excited about Kansas City. Kansas City was great last year, and I told you they were. They felt they got robbed by Pittsburgh. But here's the thing. Down the stretch, will Alex Smith get it done? Is he the guy that's going to get you to the promised land? You need to have a balanced attack, in which they have. They have a dual running back system that works. Andy Reid runs very predictable plays. He's very good for running backs that are very diverse. Like when he had Westbrook, sending Westbrook out on those plays, when he was in Philadelphia with Donovan McNabb and all these things, all he needed was a guy that they could throw the ball to. They really didn't hit that many wide receivers. All of these things, all of the plays they had was to running backs. That's really Andy Reid's type of offense, which is kind of like how Belichick is. The running back will have more receiving yards than the wide receivers. A lot of teams are going to surprise people this year because they don't get written about. A lot of people ignore them. So when you ignore a lot of teams and you're not really focused on it, you don't really see the benefit or see the growth of a lot of these teams. And the same thing, the same thing that happens in the NBA, but in the NFL, it's a lot more frequent because a lot of teams get better and they have players that excel and exceed what is the design. And injuries happen in football. Why? Because it's a very physical sport. So that's why it's so hard to repeat as Super Bowl champions, because you got to depend on your health. Well, see, the thing is, Dallas is America's team because they have the popularity of the legacy of the old Dallas. They was America's team, and Jerry Jones has built this persona about the Cowboys by winning those 3 Super Bowls that they did, and the fact that they did, and the fashion that they did, they made it a sport, they were bigger than a sport. They were like a sitcom. The Dallas Cowboys. They had a TV show, Dallas. They had everything, Dallas. The oil business, J.R. Ewing. The Cowboys was like the team of the city, Dallas. Of this thing that they're going to just star. And anybody who played for them, they were already over-glorified, so they were already villainized. And said, this is America's team. I want to beat America's team because I'm tired of them. So they haven't been America's team in a long time. Like the other people came. They tried to say the Packers are America's team, but they just not. All these other teams come around, and even in as much as they've lost, they won probably one playoff game in like I don't know how many years. They haven't won in probably 20 years. They haven't won the Super Bowl since what, 93, 94? They haven't been in a championship game. They haven't been to the second round of the playoffs but once in all of those years. Okay, 95, that was their last Super Bowl victory. Last time they've been there. But everybody talks about the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl every year. That's what I keep telling you. The mystique about them. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been more consistent and have won more than the Dallas Cowboys. They have the most Super Bowl victories of any team, which is 6. They have 6 Super Bowl wins, the most in NFL history. And they travel as deep as any team you've ever seen in life. Steeler Nation. But yet and still, they talk about the Dallas Cowboys going to the Super Bowl. Big Ben has outplayed Tony Romo in every facet of the game. Tony Romo has played all these years. He's won one playoff game, probably his entire NFL career. And they talk about Tony Romo as if he was the all-time greatest quarterback that ever played. We got Dak. See, this the funny thing about it is when you had Dak, You didn't want Dak. Dak was winning games, and y'all wouldn't say, this is our quarterback now. Y'all was like, well, he's doing all right, but it's Tony's team. Tony, his back is all broken up. The kid was like 10-0. Or what was he, 10-1 or whatever? Well, it's still up for grabs. We still, Dak's got a lot to learn. But it's Tony's team. Why won't y'all? I mean, this guy got you 10-1. Tony Romo has never done that at any point in his career. Even when he was the best quarterback, his best year in 2014, he never done that. Tony was Mr. Pick Six. He put them out of the playoffs 2 years in a row with a pick six. 2 years in a row. I'm sitting there with my buddy T, who's the biggest Cowboy fan on the planet. Both years we watching it. Same place. Come on. Pick six, touchdown. Very next year we back. Same place. Man, here we go. Pick six. Then the game's over. Tony Romo throws a pick six. 2 years back to back. When they were at home. At home. And they still losing. Tony Romo was never going to get it done. He was not good enough to win a Super Bowl. The Cowboy problem is, and the reason why they don't go to the Super Bowl, is because they've had the talent to do it. They believe in names and personalities of, we're keeping Witten. Witten is like 165,000 years old. Look at Witten. Go ahead, Jason Witten. He can't even run 3 steps. As soon as he catches the ball, he's going down. He can't run. What you keeping Jason Witten for 16 years for? Oh, you know T ain't gonna like this video. Especially we talking about them boys. The San Francisco 69ers? Why are we talking about them? See, people don't realize this, but Jimmy Johnson was almost with the San Francisco 49ers. They were this close to getting Jimmy Johnson. That's who they were going to hire to be the coach for the 49ers. When the great Bill Walsh, the greatest offensive system in the West Coast offense, when he brought that into the NFL and he decided he was going to retire, he was bringing in Jimmy Johnson to take over. The owner of the 49ers was finna hire Jimmy Johnson to be the 49ers head coach before he went to Dallas. You know what happened? Bill Walsh came in and said, no. I'm going to step down, but I don't want to see you screw this thing up. Hire George Seifert. Seifert was his assistant. And he says, Seifert, I don't want to see this thing get ruined. Let Seifert run it. He knows what he's doing. He won't screw it up. He knows what I would call, I'm done coaching. Let George Seifert run the team. Don't hire Jimmy Johnson. And they respected Bill Walsh's decision, and they hired George Seifert. George Seifert won a Super Bowl. I don't know if he won 2. I think he won 1 Super Bowl. And that was when he had, what's his name on there with him on the team. He might have won 2, but I remember them winning 1. And that was the one with Steve Young against the Chargers in that ridiculous Super Bowl that I couldn't believe. Yes, I remember Ronnie Lott. And the whole thing is the Cowboys would have never won if they didn't get the man that ticked all of them off. Charles Haley. Charles Haley, by him playing all the practical jokes and all the things he did with the 49ers and the way they just let him go. Jimmy Johnson and what's his name? That's one big move that they made that saved them when they got Charles Haley. He was a loose cannon, but that's a loose cannon you keep on your team. You don't let him go. And when he let him go, his whole thing was, I want to destroy the 49ers. And boy, did he do it. And that's what cost him. That's what cost him. See, the 49ers got Deion Sanders because Dallas, they overheard when Dallas was trying to get Deion. Dallas wanted to get Deion first. But the 49ers, they threw all this money at Deion. As soon as they came in there, they cut him out the deal and signed Deion to San Francisco. And he only played there 1 year, and then he ended up going back to Dallas. And the reason why he left the San Francisco 49ers because Jerry Rice was kept putting his presence in there. Jerry wants you to bow down to him and let you know that you work for me. You work for Jerry. And Deion was bigger than that. Deion was super big. He was way bigger than Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is the best wide receiver in the world, but personality, merchandise, and everything, it's prime time. And the 49ers, they loved him, but he could not deal with Jerry Rice and his superior. And he tried to yell, and this the Super Bowl. This the day of the Super Bowl. Everybody went out and partied and have a good time. Jerry looked bad because guys didn't make it for curfew. So Jerry got mad. He got up in Deion Sanders' face. Look! And started yelling at Deion, and that that did it. You would have never made it to the Super Bowl without Deion Sanders. You'd have never won without Deion Sanders. And they haven't won since. He Prime won 3 Super Bowls in a row. After he won with the 49ers, or I think they went in, or at least he got 2, something like that. Because I remember once they won, he got 2 back-to-back. My fault, he got 2. Because I know the year they came in with Barry Switzer and won the next year when they had Prime on there. No, they wouldn't have won without Prime. Prime, he took Jerry Rice's mind out of the game. And they had Elvis Gerback, and they went into Dallas and won. I remember that game. They went into Dallas with Elvis Gerback and beat the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Rice was so mad. Jerry Rice has never cursed in a press conference ever. And he cursed. You guys are disrespecting Merton Hanks and everybody else. Man, we don't give a F about what Deion, man. Don't ever disrespect. I knew Jerry Rice was gone mentally. He was mad. And what are we going to be just because one player leave? You disrespecting all the other guys that's working here. We going to be fine. But they weren't fine. And they didn't even play. Now I got a bit of a headache. That's why. But it's actually going away a little bit. But they didn't even play the 49ers in the championship game that year. I don't even think. The Green Bay Packers, I think, either beat them or somebody beat them that year. I'll never forget the game in which the Green Bay Packers had went to back-to-back Super Bowls, and they were on their way to go back to the Super Bowl. And that Packers 49ers game where Jerry Rice fumbled the ball, and they didn't call it a fumble because that year they got rid of instant replay. Jerry Rice completely fumbled the ball, and Green Bay recovered. And it led to the T.O. play in the end zone when T.O. caught the ball, and he ended up crying, and that made Terrell Owens' career. But no one talks about Jerry Rice fumbling that ball. And Green Bay recovered, and then that was the game. That was the game. It was a clear fumble, but on the ruling on the field was he was down by possession, and there was no instant replay. Had it been instant replay, clearly fumble. Wes Welker never won a Super Bowl. What is you talking about? Wes Welker never won a Super Bowl. What is you talking about? You didn't know that? Wes Welker never won a Super Bowl. Wes Welker have great seasons individually. He went to the Super Bowl with New England when they were undefeated and lost with Randy Moss, and then when the Terrell play, I don't even want to talk about that. He didn't win there. Then when they played the Giants, he dropped the pass that would have set up the game-winning field goal. He drops the pass. Then he plays for Denver, and Seattle beat the living dog snot out of them in the Super Bowl. That Super Bowl was over in the second quarter. He didn't play in the last one that Denver won. He was out of the league. He had taken too many concussions. So Wes Welker has never won a Super Bowl. Sorry, he didn't. Yeah, see, the Niners was always, their competition was Dallas. Niners, Dallas. Niners, Dallas. They've played each other in the championship game almost the entire 80s. The entire 80s was Dallas, Niners. Dallas, Niners. Dallas, Niners. That whole little era in the 80s and 90s is Dallas and the 49ers. Well, it was the Minnesota Vikings is what helped build the Dallas Cowboys. The Herschel Walker trade. When they got like 7, 8 draft picks for Herschel Walker, who was already over the hill. It's like, why would you spend all that for Herschel Walker? Like, that one player ain't finna help you. It built Dallas. You draft Michael Irvin, that defense, everybody. You got Troy Aikman, the whole team, Emmitt Smith. That's what you call a perfect storm. Because all of those players, one of them could have been a bust. You got Leon Lett. You got that offensive line. Are you kidding? But E. Smith was the real deal. I want to get that assessed right now. A lot of people disrespect Emmitt Smith. Oh, he played with that line, man. He played with Michael Irvin. He played with everybody. E. Smith was the toughest dude you ever seen. To be that small, I always gave him his respect. Because he got hit. E. Smith got hit and he would hit back and still be moving. Do you understand? He broke a lot of tackles. They don't give E. Smith the credit he deserved. Nah, he's a little different than Zeke. Zeke ain't that physical. Not like that. Zeke can go. He got legs and he's young, But he ain't E. Smith. He's faster than E. Smith. He's more athletic than E. Smith. But he can't do what E. Smith could do. E. Smith is slow, but he get there. He'll get there. And if he got to go through you to get there, he'll go through you to get there. E. Smith is going to get it. Now, you can talk all that stuff you want. E. Smith, Zeke ain't that physical now. Come on. He's more finesse. Barry Sanders was a better running back because he can hit every angle. He has speed. He do things that we have not seen today. We've never seen another Barry Sanders. Ever. But don't discredit E. Smith. Even though E. Smith got more yards, Barry would have eclipsed everybody had he played. He just quit. He just retired. He didn't want to break Walter Payton's record anyway. So, he was like, Walter Payton's the greatest to ever do it. I'm just retiring. I'm tired of losing. This is it. He carried that team to the NFC Championship game. That was the best season they ever had. And they lost to the Washington Redskins. And that was, what was that? The Huntley or Hurley, the guy who got paralyzed from Detroit, trying to tackle somebody head on. And everybody had the thumbs up movement. And that led them all the way. They beat the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. And that was Dallas's best year after they won one game the year before. Dallas went and lost to Detroit with the Herman Moore catch. The next year, Dallas came back to win the Super Bowl. But the Redskins with Mark Ripken won that year. See, Carcino got all the knowledge, baby. Don't think I'm asleep. Carcino stacked with knowledge up in here. Thumbs up, Utley. Who I got this year? I got the New England Patriots going back to the Super Bowl. And for who they're playing against, that's very difficult to decide right now. The Houston Texans are going to give teams a lot of problems. A lot of problems. Because they don't have to rely on J.J. Watt. They were great without J.J. Watt. They just needed a quarterback. Somebody who just don't turn the ball over. Now they got that. They got a quarterback that could run and get the first down, or he could throw for the first down. They don't need big plays down the field. But he's a big play quarterback. The Broncos are overhyped. Everybody, that's what kills me about the Broncos. Broncos got a lot of problems. This year they traded away a lot of people because they didn't want to pay nobody. That's John Elway's problem. He don't want to pay anybody. But he'll pay Peyton Manning, though. I'm glad you like Ozark. Ozark is amazing. I told people that. And it's one of the greatest shows. I'm not going to ever lead you astray. That show is really gripping. That show had me ready to watch money myself. The New York Giants, they're a disappointment to me because they have not figured out how to score. They got all this money on offense and they spent all this money on defense, but they had not figured out how to score. They have no running back, no running game. OBJ is an OB joke. He's not a winner. He's there for merchandising. He's there for self. He's not there to win. If he ain't getting the ball enough, he gonna pout. He's not there to sell out to win for the team. And at the end of the year, like I said in my video, and right after that, he got hurt. I made a video about OBJ, and right after that, he got hurt. Everybody talking about how great he is. I'm like, he does this stuff and they lose. How many times? They just made the playoffs. He's been in the league, 4 years? And this is a team that won 2 Super Bowls without him. Since he's been on the team, They have not went to the playoffs, but last year, and we saw what he did in his first playoff game. Choke. So I don't want to see him in no Verizon commercials. I don't want to see him on no Nike commercials. I don't want to see him doing this. I don't want to see him hanging out with Drake. I want to see him out there performing and living up to the hype everybody says he is. And then don't tell me no, look at his numbers. Anybody can get those arcade numbers when the game is over. Well, when OBJ gonna prove it? That's what we waiting for. Maulston proved he's a legend. When OBJ gonna prove it? The league is so open now for you to score. It's easy to get catches. What would Randy Moss do in a league like this? With this type of defense where you can't even guard nobody no more. They had 2 safeties back. They changed the rules of football for Randy Moss. He changed the NFL. OBJ ain't changed nothing. He still ain't better than Julio Jones. He still ain't better than Antonio Brown. You got 2 wide receivers that's better than you. You're not even the best. But yet, you in all the commercials. Ever since that catch in the game they lost, they made a catch in the game they lost against Dallas. It's the best catch I've ever seen. It was a great catch. I've seen better. They did lose the game, and he didn't finish the game. He was hurt. The very next play, he got hurt, and he was out the game. So he didn't even play the rest of the game. See, this is the thing about OBJ and players like that. And like the coaches, instead of catching it with 2 hands to make sure it's secured, he'll be thinking, oh, this will look cool if I catch it with 1. He practiced these plays in practice. Because he's trying to do it for the gram. And his idiot self keep getting hurt. And now, he's hurt now. Like, he's going to be hurt every year. And he's going to have a hand injury. He's going to have a thumb injury. And he's going to be on the sideline. And then they got to pay a guy to come over there and just calm him down. We got the calm him down guy that we're paying $35,000 a year to just to keep Odell Beckham calm. I mean... But the NFL condones it because he has personality. As long as you got personality, it works. It's ridiculous. No, that was a good hit. I mean, it's football. What is the defender supposed to do? He wasn't out there to try to hurt Odell Beckham. He was there to make a play. He was there to hit him in the legs and tackle him. Now what he's saying, oh, he shouldn't have dove at his legs. He dove at the guy to try to knock him off the balance and get him off his feet. His feet just happened to get planted. It's football. It was not dirty at all. Plus, because the guy was already falling down, he was trying to get to the play. It wasn't like he was like, oh yeah, come on and get it so I can take your legs out. He was falling, running, trying to get there. They done already took away everything from the defender. That's what I'm saying. So all the yards he getting now, would he have gotten it in the 90s? When he got it in 2000s? No, they changed the rules. You can't lead with your helmet. Got to lead with a shoulder. You can't grab him. You can't really hand check no more. They done took everything out because of fantasy football. They want more points. They want more scoring. They want people on there doing all this stuff about fantasy football. But when fantasy football first came out, it's destroying the game. Fantasy's destroying the game. All this talk was about fantasy football. All the fans, I hate that. destroying the game. Nobody cares about the game. They all cares about stats. Now, it's the most promoted thing the NFL has. Because everybody watches all the games now because they might have a player on that bum team that they never would have been watching that game in the first place. It gave people a reason to watch crappy games. It was a genius idea. I've been playing fantasy football when it started. And I had a team in 2000 when the Rams were the greatest show on turf. When you had Kurt Warner and Marshall Faulk running everything, they were running it. Nobody was hardly playing fantasy football. That was considered some nerd geek stuff. And the same people, like my boy T and everybody else, used to dog me every year for playing it. Man, you playing that corny fantasy football. They're garbage. Every year. Now, I don't even play it no more. And who play it? Him. T playing it right now. Got 4 teams. Him and the same people that was dogging me, now they playing it. Right, all day, that's all I'm getting texts about. Fantasy. Look at my team. Look at my roster. I'm like, man, I've been done with fantasy football. I've been it since it started. The commission, the league, and people arguing about trades, people dumping players. I don't need that headache. I'm like, I lost a chick basically off fantasy football. She was just like, look, if you go in there and you make a play, if you make any decision today on fantasy football, I'm done. I ain't gonna do this no more. I'm like, look, I made her get a team. I'm like, we need one more team for the league. It's a 10-team league. We want to get 12. So we got another guy to do it. And all we need you to do is get a team. I'll help you run it. We just need 12. Man, that was a bad idea. That led to a lot of relationship problems. I'm like, look, all I'm saying is when you don't have a player in there, it's just, I can put the player on for you. Then you do it. If you ain't gonna let me do it my way, I'm like, I'm not saying I'm trying to run your team. I'm just saying, when we first started this, you said, look, let's go ahead and get this situated and we can go. Now it's my team. And first you was like, you run it. I was going to help you with your players and put people in. I'm just saying, you don't got nobody in right now. And that player's injured. You know, you got to take him out and just put the guy on your bench in the game. I ain't telling you what to do. I'm just saying, that's what you got to do. Or you're not going to get any points. I'm trying to help you out. Let me run it my way. So, of course, she didn't put the guy in. She forgot. Guy didn't play. And the other guy won. And then I'm like, now that's messing me up in my standings because I'm above him, and now he's got basically a game. When she would have played that running back, she'd have won. So she was like, well, I don't care about it like that. I had stuff to do. I was like, that's why I told you I could have done it. I don't want you to run my team. I should have never put you in this league. And that led to a whole bunch of problems. Then all of a sudden, the next year she didn't play. I didn't even ask her to get in it, so she was mad. Oh, you ain't asked me this year. No, we got somebody for you. Don't worry. Next year, you are out. So, so she was upset she wasn't in it. And then she got really mad. Did Sloane Stephens win? I don't even know. I was mad they had her going against Venus. I ain't like the way they set that up. No, I'm okay now. You see, like I told you, I got a detox from the movie. Once I detox from that clown and all that crazy music and stuff, once I detoxed out of it, I'm done. I'm back to me. I did a review. It's on my Screen Fiend account. It's Screen Fiend. 2 words. Yeah, I was messed up coming from that movie, man. I hope Sloan win the whole thing then. Because I don't like the way they set it up. They wanted to make sure they had somebody in there. Yep, that's exactly the account. They want to make sure they have a white person or somebody else in there. They put that Vanderway chick in there to play that other, the mulatto chick, to see in there. So they knew they wouldn't have, they knew they were going to have Sloan and Venus in the finals. They didn't want to have that. So they switched that up perfectly. So that Sloan end up playing against Venus so they could just have one in there. Hopefully they get Vanderway in. So Vanderway will be playing against Sloan for the championship. Boy, I tell you. Is that Kiki Vanderway daughter? I don't know. Well, the thing is, the Patriots are not done. The Patriots as an organization would not allow this to happen. Do you understand that? When you lose one game in New England, you best believe the way you lost, the way they lost is the reason that they're going to have a very serious talk. It's 9 days. Belichick don't play that. Brady, if he got that type of mentality, there's a reason. Him and Belichick don't play that. You don't quit on them. They quit. They pouted. They body language. The receivers didn't show up. Everybody's going to know this is not Cleveland. I know you played in Cleveland last year. This is New England. This is how it goes. You'll be right back in Cleveland before you can blink. Before we'll break every rule in football to get you back in Cleveland if you don't do what you're supposed to do out here on this field. Oh, man, please don't tell me about that because I'm upset right now about my parents and the Florida situation. I try to use everything else as a distraction. I talked to my mom today. And they're leaving this morning to get out of Florida. And I'm like, why would you leave in the morning? I would have been gone. They couldn't get a plane because now all the plane flights are taken up. My dad want to ride it out. Nah, we could just ride this thing out. I'm like, then what if something go wrong? Then you going to wish you left. Just go. And it ain't even worse. I'll be like, look, let's go. So they finna get on the road and drive. It's going to take about 20 hours for them to get to where they going. They're going to be driving 5 miles an hour in a car full of traffic when they could have been gone already. But you can't tell grown folks what to do. Well, thank you very much for the prayers. Some prices, they were astronomical. At Delta, they went up. And because I put that video out, a few people saw it. I tried to tell people to share it. We're talking about what Delta did when they went up from a $500 flight to $3,400 because of the tornado. People in need, which is what you don't do in a crisis situation. And they jacked the price up. JetBlue said anybody who's saying that they're trying to evacuate, your flight is going to be $99. No matter where you're going, your flight is $99. That's why I say Delta, they are trying to bankrupt their company. I'm like, everything they do, they beating up the passengers. Get off this plane. They threw the Migos out. We the Migos. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Get off my plane. They don't want nobody on their plane. I'm like, what is going on with Delta? That's right. We got planes and we feel like letting nobody fly unless we want them to. That's what Delta stands for. Don't even let them aboard. Delta. Maybe somebody's trying to get on the plane, not our plane. But I paid my ticket. I don't care. They had the guy from Easy E. He was flipping out. Man, I paid, man. It's right here. I got my ticket. We don't care about that. Get to the back. Man, what? That's my seat right here. It says it right here. We don't care what it says right there. Get in the back or get off our plane. This is Delta. Don't even let them aboard. We don't want you on our plane. Nobody. We don't want your money. Take it. This is our plane. We're flying to Boston with nobody on the plane but the staff. It's our plane. Yeah, they nuts. Be like, I'm with child. Well, you and him got to play double. What? Yep, he's in your belly. That's 2 seats. Come on. You don't want to pay it? Get off my plane. Delta, don't even let them aboard. That's Delta. Yeah, I admit, if you act like a fool, you shouldn't be on a plane. But do you think people acted like a fool was the reason why they weren't on the plane? Somebody paid for a seat. Imagine you pay for your seat, you sit in the seat, and then they come on there and say, look, we're going to pay you to get off the plane. And you don't want to take the money, you want to get on the plane anyway. And they're going to be like, look, you got to go. And you say no, and they go punch you in your face and drag you off the plane. And you paid for your seat. You'll feel a certain kind of way then. I want to see if you say you acted a fool. The Migos, all they did was one member went to sleep on the plane. He was asleep. And the lady was like, make sure you take your bag out of the aisle. He sleep. So he didn't move the bag out of the aisle. He couldn't hear it because he was asleep. They didn't like it because he was in first class with the rest of the Migos, and a couple of people that was in there was like, how they get first class? I don't want them on my plane. So the lady was very rude and was like, I told you to move your bag and you act like you couldn't hear it. He was like, I didn't hear you. I was asleep. No, you got to get off the plane. So she kicked him off and said, oh no, you two could stay, but he's got to go. It's like, babe, we're a group. Migos, not me go. And so then once they found out that this was a musical group called the Migos and it was going to be a big thing, so as you see, they weren't acting a fool. The guy was tired, that he wanted to get some sleep. Is that acting a fool? I don't think so. So what Delta did to make this a big thing, they got a whole nother plane and flew the Migos. It was just the Migos on the plane. I'd have been terrified. I'd be like, this thing gonna hit a rock. The pilots would have jumped off. Welcome to Delta. Don't even let them aboard. Delta, baby. They don't play. Glad you guys enjoyed this edition of the NFL. This has been a great video, but I'm signing off.